So there have been a lot of conversations recently in the arts industry about socially distancing in the theater once we're able to reopen. And so that means potentially changing your seat map so that you're only seating every other row and every third or fourth seat. And that conversation is definitely one that's necessary, but I just want to make sure that people are pulling back and first considering their mission when they're talking about this. So if social distancing guidelines are still in place, it means that there's still significant risk of people contracting the coronavirus. And social distancing, of course, minimizes that risk. This is why we're doing it, but it doesn't totally eliminate it. So you need to think about, if you open your theater, even to a socially distanced house, what potential risk you might be putting your audience members at. And you need to think through if the benefits that you're providing to the community through your mission are worth that risk. It could very well be that they are, but it's something that needs to be thought through. And so once you've thought through your mission and what the value you're providing to your community, and if it makes sense to open and provide that value again, then you need to think through the revenue implications of social distancing and a socially distanced seat map. So this largely depends on your theater's configuration, the size of your theater, and the size of your audience. So for some larger theaters, like for symphonies or opera, it could be that reducing your house to a socially distanced map means that you're taking away about 75% of capacity, which has a huge revenue implication. And so you need to think through if that revenue implication will help you stay afloat as an organization and will be feasible given the costs that you have. I've seen other situations where organizations have smaller houses and they have configurable houses. Maybe their audience is a little bit smaller also. So by reducing capacity, they're only actually, or by social distancing, they're only actually reducing capacity by 30 to 40%. And if their audience was only at 60% of capacity before COVID, then actually they probably won't be losing out on much revenue at all. So it really depends on your organization situation about what the financial implications of social distancing are. But then there's logistical implications, which are probably the largest, to make sure that your audience is safe. So you need to ask yourself things like, how will the performers socially distance? How will rehearsals be safe? How will the backstage crew stay safe? Will the audience be required to wear masks? Will we have timed entry into the lobby? How will your box office employees stay safe? How will you have contactless ticket pickup? How will ushers show people to their seats while keeping social distance? How do you make sure the bathrooms are safe? So there's a lot to think through. And arts organizations are incredibly innovative, and I know that they'll figure out a way to do social distancing safely. But in the meantime, please be careful, consider your mission, and stay safe.